What happens when an obsessive guy with a VCR, a pen of paper, and nothing to lose takes down a game show juggernaut? Welcome to the Luckiest Man in America, where one man's pattern recognition becomes national TV chaos. Before we dive into the neon-soaked drama of 80s game show scandals, hit that like button and subscribe, not for me, but for the almighty algorithm gods. May they smile upon us and deliver this video into the recommended feed. Praise be. The Luckiest Man in America tells the story of Michael Larson, a down-on-his-luck Ohio man who in 1984 used his VCR to memorize the patterns on the hit game show Press Your Luck and walk away with over $110,000 in one taping, a record-setting scandal that left producers scrambling and networks stunned. The movie dramatizes this true story with a heavy helping of 80s flair, examining the obsession, desperation, and chaos behind the scenes, both in Larson's life and on the soundstage. I like Walton Goggins, I like Paul Walter Hauser, I like game shows, I like the 80s. It's an interesting moment in game show history, and to make a feature film on it sounds interesting. I really enjoyed the aesthetic commitment to this movie. It uses a synth score, the wardrobe, the aspect ratio. It's all just, it feels like an 80s movie. It's a full 80s immersion. And it was shot on vintage lenses and color graded to resemble actual 1980s stock. Think maybe Boogie Nights meets quiz show. Similar to how I felt about The Apprentice last year for my review on that. Paul Walter Hauser was great as Michael Larson. He's awkward, obsessive, yet oddly sympathetic, combined with desperation and really nothing to lose. And apparently he watched hundreds of hours of game shows to prep for this role, so he nails the voice, the postures, and the tics of Michael Larson. Walton Goggins is as charming as always as the host of Press Your Luck, giving the game show cheese and the gravatas it deserves. Although, if you watch the actual footage, the actual host is much more awkward than Walton Goggins is in this movie. Shamier Anderson and David Strathairn are both pretty good in this too. They add the extra flair to the backstage chaos of what was going down. And I liked a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, even though probably most of it is fabricated. It does give a panic from the show crew's perspective and is surprisingly gripping, almost like a live TV thriller. But after the initial first third of this movie, it runs out of steam. Mostly because a lot of this drama, even though I praise some of the behind the scenes drama, it feels a little forced. It feels like they really padded out this movie for this. And there's a couple of scenes that really took me out of it. One is the Deborah phone call scene, which they call Michael Larson's ex-wife or estranged wife, and have her phone call on during the show. And of course, that didn't happen. So it took that a little too far. And also, there's just this weird talk show segment with Johnny Knoxville as this talk show host, and Michael Larson just stumbles upon the show while it's airing, and he has a sit-down interview with Johnny Knoxville. That was completely pointless scene, and absolutely did not happen. It was a huge liberty they took with that. And I have a gripe about how Michael Larson is portrayed in this. I think he's portrayed a little too sympathetically. He's the sort of sad guy, autistic coded guy obsessed with game shows that hopes to make a lot of money. In reality, it seemed like he was a bit of a schemer. I think adding morally gray portrayal of Michael Larson probably would have given this movie more edge, and I think you didn't need to have the completely ridiculous additions to the other parts if you leaned into his scheming method rather than just him being completely faultless and trying to make a bunch of money off of the back of a studio. Yeah, you can get behind that, but I think there's more you could have done from Michael Larson's perspective. And in that way, it loses sight of how radical Larson's exploit really was. I think it leans a little too hard into his trauma rather than strategy that he used to make all this money. And Macy Williams is in this, Arya Stark, and I think she's a little underutilized in this as well. Yeah, Arya Stark, you gotta do something with her, right? But I would give The Luckiest Man in America a 3 out of 5. It's entertaining enough. If you look past a lot of the liberties they took with the movie and just squint past the historical fictional fuzziness of it, it's a little frustrating because you can feel a better version of the story under the surface, one that dives deeper into obsession and moral ambiguity and TV manipulation. But with that said, it's well acted, stylishly made, and worth a watch for 80s nostalgia fans or game show nerds like me. But did you see Luckiest Man in America? Let me know down below what you thought. Make sure to appease the algorithm gods, give this video a like, and maybe subscribe if you like movie reviews like this. And if you like weird biopics and 80s vibes or game show scandals, I've got a whole playlist full of movie reviews like this one. Check it out below and give it a spin. And I'll see you later. Bye.